Xian, a name that has become synonymous with the very essence of equanimity. Imagine, if you will, a nation besieged by a predatory host of 800,000, while you command a mere 80,000 raw recruits. The entire city of Jinling trembles in terror, and the aristocracy has already packed their bags, desperate to flee. Yet, as the commander-in-chief, you sit in leisurely repose, engaged in a game of Go with a friend, your rhythmic breathing undisturbed. This is the most legendary vignette of Xian's life, a quintessential reflection of his enduring spirit. Tonight, by the gentle flicker of the hearth, let us immerse ourselves in this effortless narrative and explore the man behind the myth. His life was, in truth, a 40-year grand gambit, played against the formidable opponent of his era's own sense of destiny and the Eastern Jin court, a place rife with a desperate pursuit of fame and fortune. Xian was a profound anomaly. Born into the most prestigious of clans, the Xie family of Wui Lane, he was a natural heir to the heights of power. Yet, he held no affection for such ambitions. He cherished instead the mountain mists of Dongshan, the drifting clouds, and the quiet company of tattered ancient scrolls. The court issued decree after decree, even threatening him with lifelong house arrest should he refuse to serve. Xian merely met these threats with a faint smile and retreated further into the verdant depths of the eastern mountains, where he remained for 20 years. Make no mistake, this reclusion was no mere affectation, it was a lucid act of defiance. He roamed the peaks, engaged in metaphysical discourse with the monk Ji Dun, and admired the moon with his friend Wang Shiji. The people of that era would lament, if Xian will not serve, what is to become of the common folk? Perhaps, however, he was not waiting for a title, but for a moment grand enough to accommodate his singular grace. It was only when his brother Xiaowan was dismissed and the family's prestige began to teeter that the 40-year-old man finally brushed his sleeves and stepped into the clamor of public life. The world thought it had simply recruited a new official. In truth, it had welcomed the savior of an era. Xian's emergence was no smooth path, but a plunge into the violent eye of a political storm. The Eastern Jin was then besieged by the predatory ambitions of the warlord Huan Wen within, and formidable enemies without. Huan Wen, a man of boundless ambition, sought to crown his legacy through usurpation. He marched his army to the capital and summoned Xian to his headquarters to reminisce. That day, assassins lurked behind screens, their blades sharpened for slaughter. The very air was heavy with the prelude to bloodshed. Any ordinary man would have been paralyzed with fear. Yet, as Xian entered, he was softly chanting the verses of the poet Ji Kong, his demeanor as serene as if attending an elegant garden party. Looking at the warlord, Xian remarked, "Since you are the great general, why the need for so many screens and hidden soldiers?" In that instant Huan Wen, a commander who had spent his life in the saddle, found himself eclipsed by the sheer aura of this refined scholar. He realized then that the mere existence of a man like Xian was a deterrent to any usurper. With his immense magnanimity, Xian shielded the precarious court from the first wave of a power-hungry backlash. The most pivotal stroke in the canvas of Xian's life was, of course, the life-and-death gamble at the Fei River. Fu Jian of the former Qin led a colossal host of 900,000, an army so vast it was claimed their thrown whips could stem the river's flow, surging south with the vow to swallow the Jiangnan region whole. This was a true war for the preservation of civilization in Chinese history. Had it been lost, the trajectory of future history might have been entirely rewritten. Xian did not resort to the frantic maneuvers of conventional generals. Instead, he promoted his nephew Xie Xian and forged the Beifu army, his ultimate trump card. While the flames of war raged at the front and messengers galloped through the drenching rain, Xian was found at his desk, deep in a game of Go with a guest. He glanced at the urgent dispatch, set it aside with indifference, and placed another stone, his expression as unruffled as a still lake. Unable to contain his curiosity, the guest asked what the news was. Xian replied nonchalantly, "The youngsters have soundly thrashed the rebel insurgents." Though he would later snap the wooden teeth of his clogs on the threshold in a moment of solitary, overwhelming joy after the guest's departure, the composure he projected reassured the entire nation. Thus, Xian-esque equanimity was etched into eternity. The twilight of Xian's life was spent in the same profound tranquility of one who has seen through the illusions of fame and fortune. In the wake of the Fei River victory, his prestige overshadowed the throne, inciting imperial suspicion and the petty machinations of courtiers. Xian did not argue his case, nor did he plot a counteroffensive. He simply requested leave to return to Guangling, to the solitude of his eastern mountains. At the very zenith of his glory, he chose the most dignified of exits. This level of transcendence is often incomprehensible to those mired in the struggle for power. In truth, Xian remained that same youth who once watched the clouds from the peaks of Dongshan. He never truly changed. Even while wielding supreme authority, a yearning for freedom remained anchored in the depths of his soul. He spent his life balancing the interests of powerful clans and salvaging a fractured realm, yet his heart remained as untainted as a crystal-clear mountain spring. This masterful navigation between the mundane world and spiritual transcendence is the most captivating legacy he left behind. Xian passed away in the quiet solitude of a lonely autumn. Wu Lane remains, bathed in the glow of the setting sun, but that most composed of souls has departed. He left behind in Chinese history more than just the posture of a victor. He left us a stillness of spirit, a blueprint for facing life's pressures and the upheavals of time. The noisier the world becomes, the more precious Xie and silence feels. Perhaps now, you too can feel that steadying peace echoing across a millennium. Regardless of the storms that rage outside, remember to reserve a small Dongshan cottage within your own heart. Tonight, may you carry this Xie-esque grace into a dreamscape free of strife. The world has grown quiet, and it is time for you to rest. Good night.